Mike's on. Mike's on.
All right, a little after 5 on this Monday program. Mets against the Reds tonight. Cespedes is in the lineup. They're bringing the kid out of the minors to pitch the game. He doesn't have much of an ERA, so we'll see. He's got a large one, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow, not here, so I have a charity golf event with the Telecare folks, the Catholic network that they have in the diocese. They have a fundraiser and a golf tournament, and they asked me to be involved in it, and so I agreed about 4 months ago to do it. I have to go do that tomorrow, so they'll CMB will fill in for me. I appreciate that. Wednesday, among our guests will be Sam Darnold and David Fisdale, the new coach of the Knicks, will join us, so we'll have both them on Wednesday. And obviously we'll have plenty of Yankee Red Sox stuff also, so that's coming up on the Wednesday program. Thursday, as we finish up the Yankees Red Sox, obviously we'll have Aaron Boone that day among our guests, so that's just looking ahead a little bit this week. A lot to do. So away we go. Sal in Astoria. What's up, Sal?
Mike, I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you. Without
happening? Question, you're the Michael Jordan of this. So when you retire and then you want to come back, you come back because you're the best ever.
Thank you.
Mike, historical perspective, please. LeBron James is playing at a level right now that I just can't believe. I just want to know, in the all-time scheme of things, I didn't see guys like Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, but where does LeBron James rank all-time, and would Bill Russell fit into today's game? I'm going to hang up and listen, and thanks for coming back, Mike.
Thank you. Here is what I texted to someone, a noted basketball person today, and we were talking about the playoffs. I said I thought the Celtics and Cavs was a pick'em. I said, I think we're looking at a bunch of games, low 90s. I said, I hope LeBron loses because despite how brilliantly he's playing, they will have no chance in the finals, and there are people who will knock him. Despite what he accomplished to get there this year, they'll knock him. So I said this. I said, his play is remarkable. We may never see this again. This is the rarest player I've ever seen. And I really believe that. And this is what I said to him. I'm not going to say who I said this to. I said, size, power, endurance, instincts, drive. Imagine if he actually knew how to shoot. He does everything better than everybody. His power, his endurance, his strength, his ability to pass, his instincts. He can score. He wills himself to score. He's not the greatest shooter in the world, we know. It's not his strength. He has some weaknesses in certain areas. Sometimes he has weaknesses from the line. He gets into some bad habits there. He's not a guy, he's not going to make the mid-range jumper to win the game, although how many games has he won with shots this year? His play is so unbelievably accomplished at so many points of the game that you're talking about a guy who has been the rarest of players. And it's something that the only player, and this player is limited in one area because of the limitations that are put on him by position. I always made the point about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, even more than Wilt, because of later on in Wilt's career, the way he changed his game. That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the rare player who, until the very, very end, you go through high school, you go through college, they changed the rules for him. He went to the finals 3 years. He was the best player all 3 years. He won the championship all 3 years. He went 88-2 in 3 years in college. Didn't play as a freshman. He scored the highest total of points he ever scored in his career in his first game just to make a point. Never tried to do that again. He was the most important player in every game he ever played in. LeBron James has been the most important player in every game he's ever played in. That is so rare. From the minute he stepped on a floor, that was true. And to watch what he does now, it doesn't make sense to compare Wilt or the defensive brilliance or what Russell was able to transmit in terms of leadership to a team that allowed him to win, although Russell did play with 7 Hall of Famers. Jordan for his brilliance, especially his ability to score and will his shots. All incomparable players. The all-around brilliance of Oscar Robertson, who never got to play on that kind of level in that many championship games. But LeBron James, with what he has been able to do for this long, and to be doing this now at this age, and having done it for this many years, we are seeing something we may never see again. And it's funny, this year I've had people come up to me and say, you know what, now I think he's the best player ever. I don't want to get into that because it's a silly argument, because it's apples to oranges to different generations to everything else. I mean, Jordan was never asked to do what this man does because he had other people who could do what they had to do, and he was much more put into a role than LeBron is. LeBron is asked to do everything. So it's a very different role. And I'm not taking away from Jordan. I would never do that. I'm not taking away from Wilt or Russell or any of those guys. And it's not about how many championships they win or how many MVPs they win. It's about what they bring to the game and what he brings in terms of his pouring himself into every possession on both ends of the floor. He is more involved in the game than any player I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing even close. I don't know that we'll ever see it again. That's how special this is now. And what he's done this year has been just unbelievable. That team's they're not even decent. Now they've gone back, which I thought they would. They've gone back to the guys they could rely on, which is what I thought they would do. And I never thought Toronto, I argued with a couple of friends of mine who thought Toronto would beat them, and I said, I just don't think Toronto will beat them. I know Toronto had more depth this year, but I never thought they have quality guys thought that they could beat LeBron, and they don't even want to compete with him. And the Sixers weren't ready yet. That's all. They're young. They're just not ready yet. Simmons, for all his edginess, he's just not ready yet. And unfortunately, I think Golden State's going to win it all. I wish they wouldn't. I don't have a lot of faith in Houston. I would be the most happy guy if Houston beat Golden State in the series. I just don't think they will. I just don't think they will. And nobody in the East is going to win the championship this year. And I'm hoping Boston wins the next series because I actually think highly enough of LeBron that I don't want to see him go there, because there's knuckleheads who are going to see him lose that series in 5 and say, see, he never wins a big series. And you just say, how stupid can you possibly be? This is a guy whose team shouldn't have got out of the first round. This is a guy who had to do heroic things all night, every night, just to get his team through the first round. So I hope the Celtics beat him. And the Celtics are a year away from big things. When they have all their players back, because remember, they have uncovered a legit star in Tatum. He is a star. It's not a question of if he's a star. He is a star. Chris in Connecticut. What's up, Chris?
That would be the most. Hello, Mike.
What's happening?
Mike, you come back. The Yankees can't lose and the Mets can't win. How about that, pal?
All right. Well, it's only a handful of games, but it seems to have been a trend so far. Tony in Stamford. What's up, Tony? Tom, go ahead, Tom. What's up? No, not there. Mike in Lake Baldwin. What's up, Mike?
Mike, how are you?
Good. What's up? Hey, I don't know what's going on here with our phones. We'll try one more, see what happens. Vito in Staten Island. What's up, Vito?
Hey, Mike, welcome back.
Thank you. What's happening?
Just driving home, worrying about my Mets. And
yes.
Let me run this by you real quick, and I need your feedback.
Okay.
Sandy Alderson. Now, the moves that he's been making, what he did last year at the end of the season, he dumped basically a pure salary dump. Dumped all these players for players that they got back that are pretty much useless, or 3 or 4 years away. I mean, they couldn't, even with the guys that they trade. I know they didn't have the blue chippers that the Yankees got rid of when they were dumping to get rid, but these guys, and I mean, Jacob Rain comes up, gives up home runs, they send him back down. I mean, these guys that these pitchers they got seem like they're not real prospects.
Right.
So I think of that was a dump.
Right.
Now, this year, coming into the season, if you think about it, if you look at their roster, anybody that wasn't under contract, anybody that they gave a free agent contract to, has been terrible. I mean, Swarzak can't stay on the field. The guy pulled his side. He's been out for over a month now. Hopefully he's okay when he comes back. Right. Historically, you think he will be.
Right.
Vargas looks like
awful.
He looks like he should be throwing left-handed batting practice. I mean, it's terrible.
Awful.
Frazier and Bruce, nice players, probably on a better team where they're not focused. They don't have to be the guys.
Bruce has got to hit. I mean, listen, I thought Bruce would hit. I did not. I liked both signings. I thought, first of all, I didn't think Bruce wanted to come back, and because I had heard he didn't, but then maybe he couldn't get the money somewhere else. I don't know. Frazier, I think they needed for a lot of different reasons. Number one, he can handle New York. Number two, he's a guy who'll stand in front of his locker and lead every day, which the Mets desperately needed in the lineup. So I think he works okay. I'm shocked Bruce hasn't hit. Bruce is a quality hitter. He hit last year. I thought he would hit. He just is off to a terrible start.
Well, I'm just wondering, do you think, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not a bad player. I just think he didn't, with Nimmo potentially and Lagares and Conforto, hopefully one day he'll hit again, because it seems like the Yankees bring up these young players, they can all hit. The Mets young guys are always struggling, but I'm hoping, it seemed like they could have used their money elsewhere. They got Gonzalez for a dime. I mean, he's pretty much useless. I mean, even Reyes, who they brought back just for the sake of bringing him back, whatever, even $2 million. I mean, I know it's not a lot of money in baseball money, but he's really just a useless person on the bench. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't say, you know what, let's not get Bruce, let's not get Gonzalez. Maybe we'll just bring one of the minor league guys up, and let's go try and sign Hosmer to play first base. Like, I don't understand why. It seems like this bargain basement attitude that he's taking with these players is not working. They need to, the only reason they paid Cespedes is because they had no choice, because the fan base would have ran him out of town if they didn't bring Cespedes back.
Listen, your points are fair. They really are. They could have clearly up their level of getting certain players. They tried to get cute. I don't have a problem with Frazier. I don't have a problem with Bruce. I didn't have a problem with Bruce. I can't now. I thought he would produce. I still think he will. I just think he's just not doing his job. I think Frazier actually fits well. And when they were winning games, everyone loved having Frazier here. So I don't think that's fair to go that route right now. The catching situation, they needed to do better before they both got hurt, and now they're both hurt. Now they clearly are in. See, to me, you can't wait all these games and play these guys every day and watch this continue with this situation. You cannot do that. It's a hole. It's like a crater. You got to fill it. I mean, sometimes you have to fill the problems. You have to do it. And they need to give some guys a chance to pitch in the rotation. Give Lugo a chance to pitch in the rotation. These are, you know what? Give him a chance. Let him compete. These guys haven't been good. And I like Matz. I'm pulling for Matz. He's a good kid. I hope he does. I hope he can do the job. But right now, do I have any confidence in him? I don't. Have any confidence in Wheeler? I don't. And listen, I wanted to see Harvey do well. He didn't do well. There's nothing you can do about it. But right now, you're looking at a rotation where you got two guys at the top who are very good pitchers, top line all-star pitchers, who have got to be, they're not, one's not healthy and one's not pitching well. John in Norwalk, what's up, John?
Hey, Mike. Mike, regarding the Mets, what's the scariest part of it is, Mike, a lot of these guys they're counting on who aren't playing well, they're in their 30s, and I'm looking at the team and I'm saying, if they don't go for it big time this year, which means I'd like to see a first baseman who could hit somewhere, maybe somebody wants to get rid of a salary or something. Well, Mike, the scary thing is, in a year or two, all these guys are going to be older or gone, and they have nothing. And so I'm sitting here, they're just wasting Syndergaard and DeGrom if they don't really go out and do something for this year and next year, because in like 2 years, they're going to have nobody, Mike. They're going to have nobody on the team.
Well, listen, Conforto's 25 years old. Rosario's 22 years old.
But what are they? Mike says they're not playing.
Bruce is only 30 years old. 31 years old. Nimmo is 25 years old. Even Cabrera's only 32 years old. He's not an old man. Frazier's only 32 years old. In baseball, that's not old. These guys, Wilmer Flores is 26 years old. These guys are not old. Syndergaard's 25. Their nucleus is not old. Familia's not 30 years of age yet. So I mean, their core is not old, but they need to produce. I mean, that's what it comes down to. The catching situation is atrocious. They have to, and I agree with you. Adrian Gonzalez is a stopgap. There's no question about it. Cespedes is 32, but that's still prime baseball time. Him, Frazier, 32, prime baseball time. Bruce, 31, prime baseball time. But, Rosario's come up. Last year he showed some promise. He's done nothing this year. Bruce, nothing. Conforto, nothing. They can't win with those guys not hitting. They can't win. They can't have Conforto have 100 slugging percentage and think they're going to win. You can't have him with 1 home run and 6 RBIs and hitting 180 and think you're going to win. It's not going to happen. Or have Bruce do what he's doing right now. I mean, Bruce is playing every day. The guy's got 2 home runs and 12 RBIs and 100 at-bats. That means if you give him 500 at-bats, he's got 10 home runs and 60 RBIs. That's not exactly what you signed up for. David in Morristown. What's up, David?
I was thinking about Brian Cashman trades over the years, and then and some of the best ones, and you've got the trades that looked good immediately, and you've got the trades that looked good after the fact. So for the ones after the fact, I'm thinking Didi, and I'm thinking Justin Wilson for Chad Green. Trades that look good from the onset, Aroldis Chapman, A-Rod, Stanton. I don't know. What do you think about those?
Some of them, the Didi trade's a tremendous trade. The Torres trade was a no-brainer. I mean, they had great relievers to give away. I mean, everybody wanted them. They knew who the prospects were. That's a no-brainer. That's a trade anybody could make. The Didi trade's a legitimately great trade. They've made some other good trades. The Torres thing, come on, you could have traded for Torres. Everyone knew who he was. Everyone had highlighted him, and everyone knew they desperately needed a relief pitcher. So that one was an easy one. Bob in Monticello, what's up, Bob?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
What's happening?
I want to ask you about Brad Stevens, but I just got to say...
Brad Stevens is a great coach.
Your analogy with LeBron Kareem as being the player from the word go really was a great way to look at it.
Except Kareem was a center and needs help because the center has to have somebody deliver the ball to him. LeBron is complete. He didn't do that. He actually can take the ball. He can do it from the ball forward, get the rebound, take it from the ball that way. He is completely self-sufficient, which very few players are. The only complete player who has ever played with him on the same level is Oscar Robertson on both ends of the floor, and he's better because he's bigger and he's better than Oscar Robertson, although some people thought Oscar was the most complete player of all time, and that includes John Wooden, who thought Oscar was the most complete player of all time. But the center needs help, but he was still the most important player on the floor every game, and LeBron has been that. He's been the most important player on the floor every game. Plus, there's nothing he can't do. He expends energy. Here's how, look at the game. When is there a possession on either end of the floor when LeBron is not the focal point of the game? He is always the focal point of what they do, everywhere. Whether it's getting the rebound, checking the guy on defense, getting the loose ball, starting the break, making the pass, taking it down the lane, taking the shot with 5 seconds left, driving the lane with 5 seconds left on the 24, hitting the shot, making the pass for the 3, whatever it is, it's LeBron, every single trip. And then at the end of the game, he's got 40, 10, and 10. And, maybe he knocked one in at the end of the game. Last night's was a little cocky at the end. Don't try this at home. He said, they asked him about his shot. Was it a difficult shot? He said, yeah, very difficult shot. Don't try it at home. So, hey, he knocked it down. Mark and Brick, what's up, Mark?
Hey, Mike, good to have you back.
Thank you.
I tell you, I was listening to you on Simmons' podcast and you guys debating the MVP.
Yeah.
And, man, if I think if James had somebody as good as Clint Capella, I mean, he's doing, and I'm not a big LeBron fan, but he's doing everything. It's unbelievable.
My point on it was this was the year to give. I know you don't have to give LeBron. People have shied away from giving him MVPs anymore in the regular season. You get to a point where they don't want to give it to you anymore. But this was the year to give it to him because he had played every game. and he had somehow, I understand they didn't win as many games as people may have thought they should this year, but they still won a lot of games, and he had to drive that whole team and play every single game in the regular season. So to me, he was the MVP, not Harden. And in the postseason, what he's done is just insane. I mean, the postseason doesn't count for the MVP. Back after this.